Hi, welcome back to Outdoor Gear and Skills. Today I wanted to talk about gauze again and an important lesson I learned. I mentioned a few weeks ago in a video that I got some gauze after doing a first aid training, stop the bleed training with my friend Gina in Roseburg, Oregon. She's a paramedic, fantastic at what she does, just a wealth of knowledge. And so she was, one thing she really taught me was how much gauze it actually takes to shove into a hole, a wound to make it stop bleeding. And you always see in the movies, they just grab something and put it on, and you can't stop a bleed like that. You've got to get in there and clog that hole. So I got all excited, bought some gauze and all that. It did take me a little bit, to get here in Houston, get on my move under control, but then I bought some gauze and I got this box. It was, great deal on Amazon, but I didn't think to ask if there were a different type of gauze. So a good life lesson is always ask another question. Ask if you're talking about gear or anything like that, is there a specific type, right? A good example is a knife. It's always good to have a knife, but does that mean a fixed blade? Does that mean a folding knife, a neck knife? There's lots of different knives that can be used in lots of different situations. So I did not think to ask about gauze. And so what I was doing was buying, these rolls, thinking, oh great, you just pop it open, unroll it, stick it in the wound, whatever. Well, I was talking to my friend James Wakely a few weeks ago, and he does a lot of first aid, especially for wilderness, remote situations, things you have to do that is, kind of, someone might be in a pretty serious situation and you don't have full support of an ambulance or a hospital. And I showed him my gauze and he said, oh man, that stuff sucks. That will not work for clogging up, a wound. It's great for wrapping things, once you get a bandage on there, wrapping it. So still keeping this, I'm not getting rid of it, but what he told me I needed to do was to get Krinkle gauze. I'd never heard of Krinkle gauze. Honestly, in the classes that I did with Gina, I didn't see the packaging of the gauze or anything. It was just kind of there, so I didn't see either the box or the bag that it was in. So James told me to get Krinkle. So here is the difference in size and how it looks. So this he said is going to be more absorbent. You're going to be able to stick it in and it's going to absorb the blood and help stop it, whereas this is not. So both of these are just over 4 yards, so it's 12 feet, but you can see just based on volume, what that is. So I am still using these, in my kit so we can wrap something at the end, but this is what is going in everything now, at least one of these. The challenge is when I've got a smaller kit that, that takes up a lot of room. I could probably, I'm sure I can kind of compress that, get some of the air out of it, but much better product. I'm sure that if I were to call, Gina, she would say Krinkle. I just didn't think to ask that question. So moral of the story is preparation is great, but ask a question. If someone is helping instruct you or teach you, ask another question. What something should do. I've got a folding knife on me right now, and then I've got my Anza fixed blade knife right there. Two totally different purposes, different blade steels, all that kind of thing, just like this stuff. So Krinkle gauze roll, that is what I've got now. I got one box of it, and this had 12 packs in it, so I'm going to need to get another one of these just to keep it on hand. But it's important to get the right tool. I'm glad that I was able to have that conversation with James, because if I just thought that this was going to work the way this one does, and I'm ever in a situation having to rely on this, I don't want it to fail on me because I'm using the wrong thing. You know, it's not all that different than Michael Scott trying to put diesel, you know, into his car when he was going to drive Pam to the hospital, because he wanted to save money. So you're using the wrong thing. I was using the wrong thing. So I'd love to hear what your experiences are. If any of you have had to use any of this in any type of first aid situation, and what your experiences were. As always, thanks for watching Outdoor Gear and Skills, and we'll see you out there.